Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's rundown, the first rundown of the 2022 MLB postseason. We're going to go over all 4 games in the American and National League Wildcard Series for Friday, October 7th, 2022. Now, if you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to leave a comment down below with what your picks are for these games. And if you want to check out my best bets, you can find those at the Premium Picks tab at pickdawgz.com. Alrighty, let's get into it. Here are the games for Friday, October 7th. First up, we see the Tampa Bay Rays taking on the Cleveland Guardians with Shane McClanahan and Shane Bieber on the mound. This one a 12:07 Eastern start time on ESPN. Shane McClanahan was struggling with his location to end the regular season. He was missing pitches both inside and outside the zone, walking a lot of batters and giving up some home runs. However, when you look at the Cleveland Guardians offensively, I just don't think that they're the type of team to make McClanahan pay for those mistakes. As when you look at the numbers, they're 17th in the league in the last month in team OPS against lefties. So not too bad, but a little bit below league average. But where I really am concerned about the Guardians in this game is they're dead last in the league in the last month in isolated power against lefties. I just mentioned that McClanahan was struggling with the home run ball, so I don't think the Guardians are really going to be able to do that in this spot. And walk percentage, 4.8% the Guardians have against lefties. That's the lowest total in baseball. So McClanahan struggles. The Guardians are also struggling in those departments themselves against those lefties. So I do think McClanahan actually has a pretty good start in this one. And when you look on the other side, Shane Bieber, yes, he's had a very strong season himself. A 2.88 ERA, a 2.98 xFIP, not much more than you could want from your starting pitcher and your ace in your rotation. However, when you look at Shane Bieber, he just faced these Tampa Bay Rays back on September 27th. He went 6 innings, but he gave up 4 earned runs and 6 base hits, a home run as well. It wasn't a very good outing, and now you have to face that same exact lineup about 2 weeks later. And when you look at his numbers overall this season, yes, he had a good ERA, and he's limiting walks and limiting home runs, but the strikeout numbers really dropped off from where we saw him last year and in years prior. In 2019, a 10.88 Ks per 9, solid numbers. Then in 2020, the shortened season, 14.2 strikeouts per 9, unbelievable total. In 2021, 12.48 Ks per 9, so still right up there. And then this year, 8.91. His velocity has dropped off a little bit, and so have the strikeouts. And I do think that the Rays, a team that just got to him about a week ago, I think they'll be able to get to him for a few runs in this spot as well. And you're getting plus money right now with the Tampa Bay Rays. I know the Guardians have been a great story this season, but I've got a team that's getting postseason experience. I think they have the better starter, the better lineup. I don't know about the bullpen, but I still think the Rays are the better side here, getting plus money. Give me the Tampa Bay Rays on the money line. Next up, we see the Philadelphia Phillies taking on the St. Louis Cardinals. This one a 2:07 Eastern start time on ABC. The Phillies are sending Zach Wheeler to the mound and the Cardinals Jose Quintana. Now the Phillies 87-75 this season. They were the 3rd seed in the National League Wild Card, and the Cardinals, they won the NL Central with a 93-69 record and a 53-28 home record. So one of the best home teams in the league. Now when you look at Zach Wheeler, he had a 2.82 ERA this season, a 3.06 xFIP, really sharp numbers. Now not as strong as last year's totals, but it's really tough to beat his last season as he pitched over 200 innings. He had 2.78 ERA, struck out double-digit batters per 9. But when you look at Zach Wheeler this season, still missing some bats, 9.59 Ks per 9, a 2.00 walks per 9, so limiting those free passes, and also not really getting burnt by the home run ball. So exactly what you want to see from your ace. And when you look at the Cardinals offensively against those right-handed pitchers, in the last month, they really weren't the strongest numbers. 21st in isolated power, 23rd in team OPS, and 20th in WRC+. So I do think Zach Wheeler could give the Phillies some nice innings in this game. And when you look on the other side in Jose Quintana, I mean, he was in great form to end the regular season. Not really a pitcher that I had on my radar going into the year, but he pitched really well as a Cardinal, or he pitched really well at Busch Stadium. And when you look at his last 2 starts, 13 innings combined against the Brewers and Reds. He struck out 13 batters, so starting to miss some more bats. Only gave up 1 earned run, only 2 walks as well. And when you look at the Philadelphia Phillies, this was a lineup that was hitting lefties pretty well for most of the season, but unfortunately for them, not really the case in the last month. Their team OPS was ranked 16th, so about league average, and their isolated power numbers a little bit better, but their strikeout percentage was the 2nd highest in the league, 27.4%, only lower than the San Francisco Giants. So this was a team that was striking out quite a bit against those lefties. When you add to the fact that Jose Quintana was starting to miss some more bats himself, I do think this could be a tough spot here for the Phillies bats, at least in the first few innings, especially in a tough road environment. So I like the under through the first 5 innings of this game. I lean towards the Phillies here on the money line. I actually think this is going to be a close game late, and I actually like the Phillies bullpen just a little bit more. So give me the under in the first 5 innings and the Philadelphia Phillies on the money line. Next up, we see the Seattle Mariners taking on the Toronto Blue Jays with Luis Castillo and Alek Manoah as your starters. This one a 4:07 Eastern start time on ESPN. We're going to see the Mariners, they finally ended that playoff drought, and they won 90 games this season, earning the second spot in the American League wild card. The Blue Jays winning 92 games and taking that first spot, and they had a nice 13 games above 500 record at home, while the Mariners 7 games above 500 on the road. Now, I think this is a classic game of starting pitching doesn't mean everything, especially in the playoffs, as both of these starting pitchers had really good starts, or really good second halves of the year, I should say. Luis Castillo with his new team in Seattle, and Alek Manoah for the Blue Jays, and we saw Manoah in the month of September, a sub-1 ERA. He was on fire to end the regular season, so I wouldn't be surprised to see this game very close and pretty low scoring through the first 5 innings. And if this is a close game late, I just got to give the edge to the Mariners. Not only are they pretty comfortable playing in close games, they won 1 million one-run games last year, and they were pretty good in one-run games this year, but I do think they have the better bullpen by quite a large margin in this series. We saw the Blue Jays bullpen struggle at times this season. It was one of the reasons why they didn't really make a push for that American League East title rather than just making the wild card spot. And I think the bullpen is a concern going into the postseason. I don't know if it's going to be able to hold up. I think if this is a one-run game late, I got to give the edge to the Seattle Mariners, especially when we're getting plus money with Seattle here. I know the Blue Jays' numbers offensively were really strong against righties to end the regular season, but so were the Mariners. They were 4th in isolated power. I think they do just enough to win this game, and I'm going to take the Seattle Mariners here on the money line, getting plus money. In our final game of the night, we see the New York Mets taking on the San Diego Padres, an 8:07 Eastern start time on ESPN. It's Yu Darvish and Max Scherzer to start this one. Now, I don't always do this with starting pitchers. I don't think it's relevant to look at career numbers against teams, especially when the teams and lineups change every single season. The New York Mets from 4 years ago, nowhere near as good as this Mets team. However, in my head, I was saying, man, it seems like Yu Darvish always pitches well against these New York Mets. He always has a good start against them. So I went back and looked at the career numbers just for fun. And in 52 2/3 innings against the Mets in his career, Darvish is 5-0 with a 2.56 ERA with 58 strikeouts. So pretty much dominant against the Mets in his career. And he's faced them twice this season. He went 7 innings in each of those games, a 7-0 and 4-1 Padres win in each of those ball games. In the first game, he went 7 innings with 6 strikeouts. In the second game, 7 innings, 1 earned run, and 9 strikeouts. So 15 strikeouts through 14 innings of work with only 1 earned run combined. Unbelievable stuff from Darvish this season, so I'm looking towards the Padres and the under, but the reason why I don't love San Diego and rather just take the under in this game is when you look at the Padres' numbers against righties this season and really in the last month, and you're facing a tough pitcher in Max Scherzer who has a lot of playoff experience himself. When you look at the Padres offensively, they're ranked 21st in the league in the last month in team OPS against righties, 25th in isolated power. Their strikeout percentage a little higher than what we're used to seeing at 22.5%. So I think Scherzer has a good outing. I think Darvish continues to pitch well against the Mets until I see anything different. So give me the under. I know it's a low total, but give me the under in this Padres-Mets game to end the night. And that's it. Those are the games for Friday, October 7th. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And don't forget to put your baseball picks in the comments section below. Now, I want to mention that going forward for Saturday's games and going forward in the MLB playoffs, we're going to be posting these rundown videos in the morning to make sure that we're getting the starting pitching information and the lines to actually be released in time. So we want to make sure we're getting all the up-to-date information. So expect those videos in the morning going forward. If you want to find my best bets, you can find those at Pickdawgz Premium. As always, this is Ron Romanelli. Good luck and let's have a great MLB postseason.